Okay, next question. How to deal? Okay, so the next question is, how do I deal with a girl who is cold on text, but focuses totally on you on dates or in person? So a girl who's maybe not very receptive or very responsive on text messages, but when you guys are together, when you are hanging out, whether it's maybe a social gathering where she's in your circle of friends, or maybe you guys are actually out on a date or whatever. And by out, I mean you're hanging out. So it could be at your place or wherever it is. And she's very responsive at that time. She's very focused on you at that time. A couple things might be happening. Could be that she actually really likes you, and the thing, what some women will do when they really like a guy is they'll actually put their defenses up. They'll try to slow the escalation down because they've probably been hurt in the past where a guy used them for sex and then disappeared. So if she likes you, she wants you to value her and take her seriously. Some women, if this is where they're coming from and if this is what they're doing, they'll make the mistake of playing hard to get and will sort of give the wrong impression to the guy that they don't like him. I would say first of all, don't jump to conclusions again. I tend to give women the benefit of the doubt, or at least I don't take things personally, and it works very well for me. It was when I was taking things personally and jumping to conclusions and always assuming that, I had made a mistake and I needed to game the girl to get her back or whatever. That's when I was struggling with women. That's when I would make all the mistakes and really just do dumb, unnecessary shit when there was no problem to begin with. You can make a joke to her on texting about, if she responds to you like takes her a long time to respond, you can just say something like, you just might be the world's worst texter, you could say something like, you could say something like, oh, you're alive, LOL, and just kind of poke fun at the fact that it's taking her a really long time to respond. Be careful not to get needy, though. Again, the best gauge or filter you can use when texting is, if she sent you that, before you send a message, imagine if she was sending it to you. And how do you feel about that? What would be your response? Or what would be your gut reaction to that? You can make a joke to kind of point it out, and what that might do is kind of get her to explain. Maybe she's just really bad with her phone. Here's the thing. I'm almost like this girl because when I'm with somebody, I'm totally focused on them. I'm very engaged, but I'm awful with my phone. I'm horrible. I mean, I text people back. My best friends, I text them back like super late because a lot of times I'll be doing something and I'll have my phone in another room or I'll have it on vibrate and I won't hear it. I'm just not the kind of person that's always on my phone. Maybe she's the same way. Maybe she's just been really busy. Worst case is she doesn't like you very much, and that when she's with you, it's all an act. And I highly doubt that. If she seems very into you or at least focused on you when you're together, I would go by that. I tend to go by what people are like in person with me rather than how they are on texting, or even if I heard some rumor about something they said about me or whatever. Maybe they said it, maybe they didn't, maybe they meant it a certain way, who knows? But I try to keep my social awareness almost at like a face value, not a surface value. I do read into things and try to, I definitely read into people's behavior, but I try to take people at face value. So however someone acts towards me face to face, it may not be honest, but it's the only information I really have. It's the only firsthand information, it's the only firsthand data that I have about the person. And so I would put that before other stuff. Now, am I naive for doing that? I would say I'm deliberately naive at times because the other way I had of dealing with people where I was very distrustful and always assuming the worst bit me in the ass just too many times. First of all, it didn't make me feel good. It didn't lead to me having, it led to me having a very negative disposition. And it also, a lot of times I was just wrong. Or I overreacted to stuff that, wasn't really an issue. So I think a lot of times as a man, especially with dealing with women, just take her at face value. Whatever she's saying, whatever she's doing, especially if it's in person, put that is your top priority of information, and then go from there. Again, crack a joke, point out that she takes a long time to text. Maybe say something like, "Are you one of those people that ignores your phone a lot?" Or if maybe you make that joke, you're the worst texter, or oh my God, you're alive, and then she says, "LOL, yeah, sorry about that, blah blah." Then you can say, it's all good. I go on. I've been known to ignore my phone for days at a time. Are you the same way? And then see what she says after that. So then you'll get information. Maybe it's her lifestyle. Maybe she's just busy with stuff. Maybe she just is like me, who just ignores her phone a lot. But in person, you could even probably just ask her, just look her in the eye and say, you kind of text me a lot less than most of my friends. You seem like you're not as much of a texter. You seem like you're less of a phone person, or you're not as much of a texter. Is that true, or have you just been busy, or whatever? You could just ask her that. But you want to make sure that your energy is not, you don't send a needy message where it's like, I need you to respond to me so that I can feel okay. Make sure you don't do that. She wants to be aloof with her phone. Okay, it doesn't bother you. But again, this could mean that she actually likes you, and when she's not around you, she's more able to put up that barrier. So maybe she likes you and she sees that you texted her, and she's like, if I text him too fast, or if I text him back too fast, or text him too much, he'll think that he's got me, that I'm easy, that it's, that I'm not a challenge. She won't value me as much because that's what happened in the past. And so she maybe will say, well, I'll ignore his texts, see if he texts me again. She might be doing that. I don't think that's a good thing for women to do. I think, for a guy like me, like, I'm gone. If I feel like you're playing games with me, I'm out. But this hard to get thing backfires on women. And unfortunately, that's something that women have been conditioned to do, just like men have been conditioned in their own ways. It could be that. It could just be she's one of those people that out of sight, out of mind. Unless you're right in front of her, unless you guys are doing something together, she's not thinking about you. She could be on the move. She could be a very social person, and she's just, whoever she's hanging out with, that's where her attention is. But if she seems focused on you in person, then, well, try to see more of her in person if you want to. And so that would just mean, on texting, get a little information, see why she's being so cold, and then maybe set up something to set up a time to hang out. And then in person, of course, you can bring this up. But again, don't read into it, don't jump to conclusions, because that'll lead to you making an unnecessary mistake. So much of connecting with women is about not making unnecessary, stupid mistakes. Guys tend to react, especially when they feel like they think they're going to get laid, and then it's not happening, or they think there's some potential for sex, some promise for sex, and then they feel like it's not going their way. It's not, they're off track of the golden pussy, and then they start flipping out. They just start losing their marbles, and their brain their thought process just goes completely off the rails. Definitely been guilty of it. So don't let that happen to you. All right.